Asasumba.
The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, I'm Carol Kidu Jr. with the news. A tragic time for the families, relatives, and people of Hanwabara village as 4 of their men remain missing after during a fishing expedition. It's been a full week. The men were alleged to have gone fishing last Tuesday and have not returned since. 3 of them leave behind wives and children. Acting NCD Governor and Chairman for Motukota Assembly, Daddy Toko Jr., said search parties have been unsuccessful for the last 6 days. The Defense Force has been assisting in the searches. The search has gone as far as Milimbe province.
I guess the initial search on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, we had about 20 dinghies out in the waters. Based on the current weather patterns, it was since they were trawling, they had to be if there was engine failure, they had to most likely be pushed down towards Hula or towards Milimbe borders. So the search has covered that area. And then recently, the PNG Defence Force, Commander Mark Goyner, with the assistance of the Australian Defence Force, Travis Gordon, and of course our very own Lieutenant Colonel Davai Tau, they assisted with preparing an aerial sweep.
The New Island Subsidy Office says the New Island government's free and subsidized education policy is still on hold since 2021. Chief Executive Officer for Provincial Subsidy Office, Mactil Bice, made this statement following concerns raised by New Island parents and students regarding the policy. She said during the time the policy was running, the program was funded exclusively by mining royalties from Newcrest Lihir Gold Mine. In March 2021, the National Executive Council decision directed Newcrest Mining Limited to stop the mining royalty payments to the New Island Provincial Government and divert the funds to the Caving and Namatanai District Development Authorities. She said this has prompted the discontinuance of subsidy policies, including the free and subsidized education policy. All New Island students who have applied for tertiary education subsidy are advised to make full payments to their respective institutions. Minister for Department of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology Don Pollier have dispelled fear and concern regarding the deficiency in the budget allocations and disbursement of the 2023 TESA scholarships and HELP program by the government. He made this clarification in a recent press conference to reassure students and parents.
Minister for Higher Education Don Pollier and Department Secretary Dr. Francis Wallop Momi and the First Secretary Burex Kilata met the media over the weekend to dispel fears about the TESAs and HELP programs. Minister Pollier urges all Papua New Guineans, especially the higher education institutions, to know and appreciate this. He explained that the Hearst requested the government to meet the shortfall, and they agreed in an NEC special decision made on 19 January 2023. The minister said 40 million kina was not enough to cover this year's TESAs. It would need about 101 million kina to cater for 19,605 students going to higher educational institutions. Pollier applauded the loan scheme, saying he is restructuring it to make TESAS sustainable. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
The Higher Education Minister added that Cabinet had allocated actual cash funding for TESAS by adding 87 million to 90 million onto the originally budgeted 40 million kina for TESAS.
Now, the additional funding caters for the following. The shortfall of about 90 million kina in the 2022-2023 budget is catered for that. And also the outstanding 33.3 million kina of TESAS scholarship costs that it was incurred in 2022. So you had an outstanding 2022 TESAS bills of 33.3 million plus this year's at the 101 million. All that had been catered for by the national government.
Minister Pole assured the higher educational institutions that their TESAS scholarships should be in their school accounts by midweek. Minister Pole made this assurance during a media conference over the weekend at the office of Dehurst in NCD. He said the whole of Cabinet agreed that TESAS is an ongoing essential educational program.
And what they've done is they have provided the money promptly on time. We have received the money in terms of the warrants released, and the cash come to the department in terms of the warrant. But to release the money, finance department and higher education department, they sign the check together. So what DEST has done is DEST has now signed all the instruments to have those funds transferred to or wired to all the universities and the technical colleges in Papua New Guinea, and that was done of last week, Friday.
Minister for Justice and the Attorney General Pila Niningi is attending the Criminal Justice Forum for Asia Pacific for International Cooperation on Crimes and Offender Treatment and Rehabilitation in Tokyo, Japan. The two-day event from 13 to 14 February 2023 was co-sponsored by the Ministry of Justice of Japan and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The forum provided an opportunity for PNG to partner with other countries and development partners to strengthen its mutual legal assistance capacity, as well as the treatment and rehabilitation of offenders. Minister Niningi shared the country's experiences in dealing with probation, parole and juvenile justice services and had a bilateral meeting with Japan's Minister of Justice Ken Saito. At the meeting, the leaders agreed that political commitment was crucial for the safety and security of both countries as well as the region. The Pacific ICT Dialogue was underway in Kokopo, East New Britain Province on Monday, 13 January. The meet was an effort to advance ICT in the region. Discussion focus included sub-regional IT offices, cybersecurity frameworks, online trade and investment networks.
The Pacific ICT Dialogue themed Smart Pacific One Voice was held in Kokopo, East New Britain Province on Monday, the 13th of February. Heads of ICT from Pacific Island nations converged at the Gazelle International Hotel to discuss the opportunities and challenges faced in region's ICT space. Minister for Information and Communications Technology Timothy Masiu said the meet was an effort to advance ICT in the region. Discussion focused on sub-regional IT offices, cybersecurity frameworks, online trade and investment networks, among others. From the dialogue, opportunities should emerge in establishing a sub-regional ITU office, Pacific regional data sharing platforms, cybersecurity frameworks, facilitate trade and investment network, and development of a regional digital maritime surveillance network and emergency telecommunication plans. Minister Masiu said it was necessary for the Pacific region to come together in a fast-paced digital transformation to drive economic growth and address security matters. The conference is a prelude to the larger ICT Ministers' Conference, which will be hosted by PNG later this year. Jasmine Ero, TVWAN News.
The Chief Executive Officer for National Information and Communication Technology, Kila Gulovui, was nominated as chairman of the Pacific ICT Dialogue. This was announced during the two-day Pacific ICT Dialogue discussions in Kokopo, East New Britain Province from the 12th to the 13th of February. Gulovui will be responsible for addressing issues in the ICT sector in the Pacific region, digital literacy, improving connectivity and infrastructure, cybersecurity and digital transformation in the Pacific. Prior to the meet, Minister for Information and Communications Technology, Timothy Masiu, announced that the theme for the Pacific ICT Dialogue is Smart Pacific, One Voice. Masiu stressed on the importance of the Pacific region collaborating to drive economic growth and addressing security concerns. TVWAN News continues after the break. Stay with us.
With BSP Internet Banking, you can enjoy your banking at home, at work, or wherever you are. BSP Personal Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts and transactions, transfer money, bill pay, schedule future payments, or access your bank statements. Visit your nearest BSP branch to register now. BSP Internet Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
It's that time again! Scale Rise is giving you the chance to win some Scale School money for 2023. Over 220 winners, 4 fortnightly draws, that's 55 fortnightly winners. Cash prizes starting at 1,000 kina, 2,000 kina, 3,000 kina. They also have consolation prizes of 500 kina. Buy any Scale Rise or Ori Rise to enter the promotion for your chance to win the Scale School money. Terms and conditions apply. Scale Rise,
the brain changer.
Open Lens.
We see you, moving heaven and earth to progress forward. That is why we make sure that the reward you deserve is waiting to encourage you on your journey to success.
Strong like you, smart like me.
I hope they don't break.
Now surely look his son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus thread. Should I try him on you?
No, please. I'll take them.
Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
Welcome back. Kaboom MP Patrick Bassa has applauded the 644 million kina Morbe provincial budget, which was passed on Thursday, 9th of February at Tutumang House. Included in the 2023 budget was 22 million kina for each of Morbe's 10 districts, an allocation that Bassa said was a first of its kind.
The 644 million Morbe provincial budget that was passed recently at Tutumang House included 22 million kina for each of Morbe's 10 districts. The 10 million kina is for District Services Improvement Program, 5 million for District Infrastructure Program, 5 million for Infrastructure Development Grants, and 2 million tied to programs and projects under the provincial budget. Kaboom MP Patrick Bassa thanked Governor Luther Wenge for taking the districts into consideration.
Since we come out member of 2017, you know, been looking annual allocation. When national government giving DSIP, but then we are giving component for national government way. I mean, provincial government way working through internal revenue. And we taking you, Governor, after a long time you step out, you come back, you come with them. Sila hak lo samima. Sila pride lo samima. You come and you saw it is sila budget make up.
Basa outlined that his electorate has no proper road network and the rough terrain hampers the effective delivery of goods and services. Only chartered flights and helicopters service the mountainous district of Kabum, with Basa describing their situation as a very painful struggle. Sharing similar sentiments, Benamia MP Solen Loifa stressed that the best way to grow Morobe's internal revenue is to connect the rural areas.
Stop land normal meri no place here. Coffee all growing na stop here. Kakao stop in child no place here. How by mixing molecular coffee come on child? How by mixing kakao come in child? Kakao come in child? Na come no lane or basanit. You will not believe road gono. Many of you will not believe good road gono. Fincha benda gono Kabum. Road and Bagara be stop na you go to working money. Wait, look, see money, the working money, child, look, road and lifeline there.
Loifa thanked the governor for allocating 5 million kina to the districts for infrastructure development, adding this is his first time to see the province supporting the districts. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
The Morobe provincial government should not encourage the free handout mentality. Kabum MP Patrick Basa voiced his concern when noting that preachers and widows have been allocated 5 million kina each in the provincial 2023 budget.
5 million kina of the provincial budget has been allocated to the Babafi Trust Church Partnership Program and another 5 million as Widow Mama Assistance Grant. Speaking during the budget session at Tutumang House, Kabum MP Patrick Basa believes simply handing out money to citizens is regressive.
You like advising Silla House or Midla over the leader from Morobe. You mean not encourage him hand out business. You must encourage him on SME. You must encourage him on programs where only empowering more youth. I was youth with a mission.
Basa believes youth and technical and vocational training programs should be supported to empower and encourage young people instead of handing out money to groups of people. He also stated that safe houses for women seeking refuge from gender-based violence need government support.
I believe some of the missions will come up in Silla. They live for long. And so we go, eventually one can die, one injuries not kind of self. Plenty of mothers will live in such a violent husbands. They are running from or refuge from almost want to hide. Almost want to stop on happen or takes him. One can law can protect him all. Also come back from mentally people from Silla leaders. It has been for so long. You must stop him slow. Man must have up give him money. Through you make a unemployment program in Silla country. Not Morobe alone, but in Silla country. You must encourage him SME. SME is also going to provide real employment.
Basa gave as an example his roof overhead program in Kabum, where the DDA supports projects initiated by locals. In response, Governor Luther Wenge said all concerns regarding the provincial budget have been taken into consideration and a budget review will be conducted in 3 months' time. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
The Rabaul District Development Authorities recently approved 2023 development budget of 9.8 million kina will give more emphasis on road infrastructure. This allows for more accessibility for economic and social developments.
Rabaul District Administrator Benedict Modest says funding sources for road infrastructure for the district is from the ENB provincial budget support to the district. Major road infrastructure captured in the 9.8 million budget includes 4.2 million kina Bland Street and Wharf Road pavement repair and 3 million kina Malakona Junction to UMW road maintenance. To complement the current LLG and ward policies in the province, 1.4 million kina for administration support will be allocated to the 4 LLGs in the district of Kombio, Watom, Rabaul Eben and Balam Nataman. Modest said once this year's DSIP allocation of 10 million is available, 360,000 kina each will be transferred directly and factored into each of the 4 LLG budgets. The initiative of this year's budget is to strengthen and build capacity at the LLGs, which will also complement the current ward policies in place. The 2023 district budget comprises programs at the district coordination level and at the LLG implementation level. As much as possible, the district is encouraging the sharing of service provision, co-funding, and integration of services with other efficient service providers. Susan Oreape, TVWAN News.
Croton Light Tepo Equities Limited has lauded the government for fulfilling its commitment in paying out landowners 4.27 equity. The landowners recently launched the special purpose vehicle, Croton Light Tepo Equities Limited, and an umbrella association, Hides for Landowners Umbrella Association Incorporated in Para Village, Comohela Province.
Croton Light Tepo Equities Limited Chairman Andy Amaga thanked the government when launching the Croton Light Tepo Equities Limited, a land-owner company in Hides 4 PDL7 license area of Como and its special purpose authority. Mr. Amaga clarified that the purpose of creating this company is to serve the people and benefit from the 4.27% Croton equity. Amaga also mentioned that Kumul Petroleum Holding Limited and other stakeholders have the trust in the company and allow them to access their funds.
When it comes to getting Croton equity payments, not only at Far East, we will Peter 7 and elite. We will Peter 7 and elite. We will first land of Kisim Disla.
He announced and presented 2.27 million kina to churches in their area as their tithes to God. He said God have always been their guide since the LBBSA signing in Kokopo and is only fitting to give back to God what belongs to Him.
Big man, you will not give him. No, I am no institution. Let me meet up now. Big man will look at me blow here. That's why we must give 10% go back now, big man. Now, people honor him this law. Agreement, people signing one of big man, yeah. And now, people honor him. People give 10% go back to big man.
Hides 4 Landowners Umbrella Association Chairman Chris Payabe thanks the government and affirmed the chairman's statement that the company is owned by the people and not the directors.
We got one association, now one company, now one other the houseman of Peter 7, and we set in Venice. And in number of Chris. Emblo Peter 7, in number 90, or in number Lucas, or Endos. Peter 7.
As per the PNG LNG project agreement, an additional 4.27% equity from the project was supposed to be acquired by the impacted provincial governments and landowners of the upstream, the pipeline, and the downstream beneficiaries through a vending finance option. Prime Minister James Marape made a commitment to the landowners since becoming the Prime Minister and freely offloaded the equity to the 5 provincial governments and the impacted landowners. As a result of the decision, the Hides PDL7 landowners were among the provincial governments and landowners that have received an equity payout of 22 million kina from the Kumul Petroleum Holding Limited. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Meantime, General Manager of Croton Light Tepo Equities Limited, Lufai Wari, gave his word that all funds will be acquitted and no funds will be misused. Patrick Dabugo from the Tianala Kaugulu block supported this.
Maniblinda Paul, Workman, Lily Baba Workman, almost Piano Islam. Tambla trust it, Mibla trust this. Mibla got the money blue blah. Osenabla operate law trust it. So I'm calling governance document. You know, okay, mouse was a strong block foundation past them. House was gone up. The winning come, Medco come, no one broke. One cannot sell running business. You must get also calling governance documents. Well, directors, Lomi, now block chairman Bibla, only develop him. I'm ready now. Ready now, launch him.
The Hiri Koyari electorate announced its sponsorship towards the 49th Hirimole Festival today as preparations wind down for the big event. Member for Hiri Koyari Keith Iduhu said the sponsorship is a way of paying homage to the history as the Hirimole Festival is close to the electorate as well.
It is a time of bonding and sharing of history for electorates as the 49th Hirimole Festival draws near. The Hiri Koyari DDA today announced it would be supporting the festival with 150,000 kina sponsorship. Member for Hiri Koyari Keith Iduhu said that the sponsorship is a way to pay homage to history as the Hirimole Festival is close to the electorate as well.
The District Development Authority of the Hiri Koyari Open Electorate have resolved to give support to the Hiri Moale Festival, which I am hopeful will evolve into an institution that reminds Papua New Guinea as to the significance, impact or contribution that we continue to make in the development of our country, Papua New Guinea. So we have resolved to give a contribution of 150,000 kina.
Acting Governor and Chairman for Motu Koita Assembly, Daddy Toka Jr., said they also celebrate Hiri Koyari's first term in, as Motu Koita rural and urban come together.
We're not given that opportunity enough times, and today is the beginning of a partnership which I'm very confident will grow for many years to come. Because it's a partnership that will also not benefit us today, but it's going to benefit the future generations of Motu and Koitabu people.
He acknowledged the support of the Hiri Koyari electorate and is looking forward to another 49 years of working together. Jasmine Ero, TVWAN News.
Work on the Lagatoi for the 49th Hirimole Festival is nearing completion. The people of Gaire village in Hiri Koyari are racing against time to construct the craft that will be showcased and used to reenact the trading history. MP Keith Iduhu shared this with the festival committee.
We were asked by the committee to take carriage of the construction of the Lagatoi. 3 houses from our very rich bushes in Gaire, and they've been in the middle of construction, almost looking towards almost finishing by on schedule. Yeah, so it's coming from Gaire village. So we are looking forward to that, and it's Kisarabada number 5.
When we come back, a look at news in the region.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bongum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plana lapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
I want you to win somebody's heart. That's Naren.
I never asked for your help with anything, Dad. Don't impose your expectations.
I'm going to be the one who makes the final decision here.
Welcome back. A national state of emergency has been declared in New Zealand after a night of extreme weather which left towns cut off across the North Island. Minister for Emergency Management Kieran McAnulty declared a national state of emergency. It was only the third time a New Zealand government had declared a national state of emergency. The previous declarations came for the Christchurch earthquakes and COVID-19 pandemic. He said the declaration would apply to the 6 regions that had declared a local state of emergency: Northland, Auckland, Tairawiti, Bay of Plenty, Waikato and Hawke's Bay. A national state of emergency gives the National Controller legal authority to apply resources across the country in support of a national level response. Monday night saw widespread damage across the North Island as Cyclone Gabrielle moved closer. Out-of-control bushfires have destroyed homes on farms near Tara on the Darling Downs as scorching temperatures continue to create havoc for firefighters. Residents have told of their terror as they fled the fast-moving blazes. At least 17 structures have been destroyed, but no lives lost. ABC's Laura Lavelle reports.
50 fires across the region raging in tinderbox conditions. Residents in Tara described a horrible roar as an inferno swept through.
By the time we went outside, our whole place was on fire when we left. No chance to grab clothing or anything. Your emergency fire plans went out the door because it was too quick.
Others also fled in terror as erratic winds fueled the blaze.
Not much time at all. By the time the report went in, within 20 minutes it was engulfing a property.
Burnt out cars, sheds and homes can be seen from the air. The fire has torn through 900 hectares so far.
It's a very high intensity fire and very fast moving.
Natalie Kildee was asleep when a neighbour came knocking.
Just basically said to us, we got to get out now.
No one knows who has lost what, as it's unsafe for anyone to return.
Oh, stressful, panic, and you just don't know what's going on.
You've got very mixed emotions going home because you don't know what's going to be there and to see what you've lost.
At least 30 crews are still trying to contain the blaze.
We still have quite active fire and quite active fire weather.
It's one of many they've fought in this area in the last few weeks. Some have been the work of arsonists. This could well be too.
We do have very experienced investigators from the arson squad working with fireys at the moment.
Another front near Miles to the north has been burning for 2 days. It's already burnt out 2,000 hectares, but is now moving fast and a threat to lives. Residents have been told to enact bushfire survival plans or evacuate. Firefighters are urging residents from southern Queensland right up to the Wide Bay to remain vigilant for the next 8 weeks, with this unseasonable dangerous weather set to continue into April. Tonight, evacuees are sitting tight, waiting for news of damage, but ever grateful.
We're still lucky. We're alive.
More residents along the River Murray will have access to the Japanese encephalitis vaccine, with the state government announcing expanded criteria for getting the jab. But the opposition wants it to go even further, saying people based in Adelaide should be able to get it in the city before they travel to the region. ABC's Leah McLennan reports.
Frank Rousseau lives in Adelaide, but his shack in the Murraylands was hit by floodwaters.
So this is us coming in with a dinghy.
He's preparing for the clean-up, and while he's eligible for the Japanese encephalitis vaccine, he can't get it from his Adelaide doctor.
We've got family, sons, daughters, all want to come up and help, relatives. They all need to be protected. So I cannot see the sense in not allowing us to go to our local GP and have a vaccine.
Japanese encephalitis is a mosquito-borne disease detected in South Australia for the first time last year. While the symptoms are often mild, it can be fatal. Only people within 5 kilometres of the Murray have been eligible for the vaccine. That's now expanded to all Riverland and Murrayland's local government areas. But Adelaide GP Rodney Pearce says he has patients who need it.
I can't get access to the government store because you've actually got to be a doctor in those postcodes as well as live in those postcodes.
We have hundreds and hundreds of tradies who are going to be heading to the Riverland and to be part of this recovery. Now, this should not be a barrier or a concern to them heading to the Riverland.
The state's Chief Public Health Officer says she's targeting those at highest risk.
That's what we do in public health. We make sure we focus on the most at-risk people whenever we have a public health campaign or a immunisation campaign of this nature.
There is a vaccine the government hopes all South Australians are up to date on. It wants people to make sure they've had a recent COVID jab, with new modelling showing another spike in infections expected in March.
A new Japanese-funded green hydrogen plant is to be built at Bolivar in Adelaide's north, with the energy product to be exported to Indonesia. The South Australian government says it's part of a strategy to capitalise on the state's strong renewable energy sector.
A small project in Adelaide's north that's promising groundbreaking results for green hydrogen technology in South Australia.
We know we've got the wind resource, we know we've got the solar resource, we've got such a big capacity here in South Australia that we can not just use it domestically, but export it to the world.
A $12.5 million hydrogen plant is being built on SA government land at Bolivar and jointly funded by Japanese government and business. With the use of renewable energy and battery power, the plant will produce hydrogen to be transported in metal hydride containers for export to Indonesia over the next 10 years.
Because Australia have such an abundant resource, we should be well positioned to be the green hydrogen exporter country.
I think it's important that we develop these test beds for looking at hydrogen production and then ultimately what we can use that hydrogen for as well.
The plan is for work to start on the plant tomorrow and be completed by August, with the first shipments due in Indonesia by the end of the year. With 70% of the state's energy supplied by renewable sources, the project is part of South Australia's push to become a global leader in green hydrogen. The centrepiece of that remains the plan to build a $593 million hydrogen plant in Whyalla by the end of 2025. But as the focus on reducing emissions grows, the race to create a hydrogen industry is also intensifying.
We need to up our game or we will be left behind if we want to see ourselves as being a renewable energy powerhouse, because places like the US are now starting to get very, very serious about it.
SA just hoping projects like the one at Bolivar will keep it ahead of the pack.
Coming up in sports, Sports Awards nominations open. Wayne's set to make a comeback in Hunters and Ipetas Cup finals set. Taking us to the break now is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bongum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
2022 Telstra NRL champions, Penrith Panthers Super League champions. Little kick, little try. Little kick comes through and it's chased by Madison. Takes it on, scores. It's a pinpoint kick. Look at this, the 6 of the 70 line. Charity Shield, a tradition that started all the way back in 1982 in front of 11,000 fans at Redfern Oval. That's amazing stuff.
What does it mean to be a man of honor? Having the courage to stand up for what is right. Being a voice for the vulnerable. The Man of Honor campaign aims to recognize ordinary men doing extraordinary things in their communities and helping to create opportunities to make the world a better place. Do you know a man of honor? Nominate him today. Visit the Digicel Foundation website and social media platforms for more information.
Welcome back to the news. In sports, nominations for the 2023 SP Awards are now open. It's the biggest and only award ceremony that recognizes sporting achievements of PNG's top athletes. The theme for 2023 is Make a Difference, Stop the Violence. The Sports Awards will commence on the 27th of May 2023 at the home of the Sports Awards, Crown Hotel.
Nominations are now open for the 2023 SP Sports Awards with the theme Make a Difference, Stop the Violence, and it aims to raise awareness of sporting violence on the part of participants and spectators. SP Brewery Corporate Affairs Manager John Neil Kare said sports unites people and inspires a nation to win. However, the increase in sporting violence is becoming a concern as violence on the playing field sets a bad example for impressionable young Papua New Guineans when unruly crowd behavior ruin family outings.
As I stand here today to mark the launch of the 31st SP Sports Awards, I reflect where we come from and where we're heading, and I remain optimistic. This year we will be recognizing the achievements of our elite athletes in 2022. May I also ask you to spare a thought for those 30 individuals in Kirowena Island that lost their lives on the 24th of October 2022 from a dispute that stemmed from a soccer match. Ladies and gentlemen, it's high time we stand up and speak out against violence and the negative impacts that it has on our sporting codes and the country at large.
Neil Kare also announced that the nominations can be submitted online through the online nomination form, and he encouraged everyone to send in their nominations for categories including Male and Female Athlete of the Year, Team of the Year, Community Sports Initiative, Best Sports Person Living with a Disability, People's Choice Award and the Stan Joyce Award. Sir John Dawanikura gave a brief overview of the sporting achievements, highlighting major sporting events in 2022, both internationally and nationally, and congratulated SP Brewery for its continuous support for many years.
We aim to keep the success going. We aim to ensure that we give every opportunity to our athletes to represent PNG, despite the challenges of COVID, but it's a new ball game now, and we look forward to repeating some of our successes in the past.
PNG Sports Federation CEO Albert Veratau spoke on the importance of sports and thanked SP Brewery and the associated sponsors for making the event worthwhile and special in the sporting calendar.
Thank you for continuing to believe in the event, believe in the occasion, and believe in the awards that we give to our sportsmen and women, clubs and coaches and media, of course. And like I said, this event, the Sports Award, don't just look at it as rewarding our athletes or sportsmen and women. Look at it as an inspiration to the next generation of sporting talent that's coming through.
Carol Kido Jr., TV1 Sports.
PNG hunter speed demon Solo Wana is bracing himself for a big season after a disappointing end to the 2022 campaign. Wana was ruled out of the 2020 season after picking up a footy injury in the match against Townsville Blackhawks. Hunter speed machine Solo Wana is back up and running after going through rehab and recovery process after last year's season-ending foot injury. Wana made his debut for the Hunters in 2021 after his impressive run with local club Hella Wigman taking out the 2020 DSL Cup Grand Final title against the Tigers. Given his eye-catching form in the Host Plus Cup last season, Wana was in the running for a call-up to the Kumuls for the Rugby League World Cup. It only took a foot injury at the back end of 2022 that shattered Wana's dream, which was very unfortunate. After sitting out the remainder of the 2022 Host Plus season, Wana took some quality time off footy to focus on his rehab and recovery, which has been tough, but very happy to be back at training with the boys.
Yeah, happy with the training. At first they killed us, they flogged us during the first phase of the pre-season, but coming back from the Christmas, they cut down the training, so now we're now into our skills and more game stuff, so it's getting better now.
Wana has again set his goal for the new season and working really hard to regain his old best.
My main focus is, especially coming back from the injury, I'm trying to set my goals right again and focus on the game and my personal goals which I've set within myself. So I need to accomplish this year, this season 2023, and looking forward for next year and onwards.
He said coming back from injury was always tough, especially reflecting back on the early part of the team's pre-season. Wana said after a disappointing end to the season last year, his ultimate goal now is to make it to the next Rugby League World Cup.
Back end of the season, my aim is to play the World Cup, but due to this injury, I couldn't make it, so now my focus is straight. I said it straight again to aim on this coming World Cup, which is on 2025 at France. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and yeah.
The Coca-Cola Ipadas Cup Western End Challenge is confirmed for this weekend at the Kimil Rugby League Oval, Jiwaka. After last weekend's postponement, the finals is set without further delays. 16 teams from the Western Highlands, Southern Highlands, Anga and Ella provinces will converge at the Kimil Rugby League Oval for the elimination playoff on Thursday and Friday, with the two outright winners proceeding to meet the two winners from the Eastern End Challenge next week in Lae. When confirming the Western End and Eastern End challenges, CCIC manager Sam Coy said the competition is set for crunch time.
Apart from that hiccup, we're all good to go, and we've got 16 teams that will participate starting on Thursday. The only change that we've done this year compared to other finals is we're actually going to run it over 4 days. So we've gone for Thursday, Friday, and then the main major finals will be Saturday and Sunday.
Despite the setback, Koi said teams are ready to take the field. He stressed to the teams that for this season alone, they have relaxed some tournament rules to allow for the finals to proceed.
With the venues, we were supposedly to have 4 games in Minch and 4 games in Kimilo. Unfortunately, with the Jiwaka Nines that eventuated, I think, 2 weeks ago, they had issues with the field at Minch, so we were unable to use the venue. So for the safety of the players and the competitions and officials, we've decided to have all our games at Kimil.
The elimination process will continue for the 16 teams from the Eastern End leg, with the 2 winners taking on winners from the Western End Challenge in the Cup semi-final and Grand Final, hopefully early March.
For the Grand Final, we'll only have 4 teams. You'll have the 2 teams that eventually come out on Sunday for the Western End, and next week we'll have 2 teams that actually come out on the Eastern End, and then we'll have a crossover between the 4 teams, where the Western End plays the Eastern End for the Grand Final. So only 4 teams make it into the finals.
In NRL news, Api Corey Sau will captain West Tigers in his first season at the club. The 3-time premiership winning hooker was confirmed at the club's captain at the 2023 season launch on Monday night. Despite other hot candidates for the captaincy job, Adam Dewey, Luke Brooks and Ken Mamalo still being at the club, Corey Sau has been given the nod for this year. After the big announcement, Api appeared humbled but very excited to lead the team in his first year at the club.
Yeah, it's quite a special feeling. Yeah, to be voted in by your peers, really makes a whole lot of difference. And just knowing that these guys, put their hand up for me to lead them is, it's a pretty incredible feeling.
He said this is a terrific group of players and very honoured to be their captain. Api said from the moment he joined the club, he and his family have been made feel so welcome. He said it's a great start to his time as a West Tigers player and look forward to helping the team and the club to be the best it can be.
Yeah, when I first walked into this place, day one, felt really comfortable. Everyone made me feel so welcome, and I felt like I had friends, straight away. Didn't really have to build too many connections. Yeah, they just really wanted me to, I guess, feel welcome, which they did. And like you said, some great leaders at this place. We've recruited some really, experienced guys, but also guys like Adam Dewey and Luke Brooks around the place. It's quite special, and I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of them.
West Tigers are looking to climb up the ladder in 2023, having collected the wooden spoon last year. The club, which hasn't played in the finals since 2011, has reappointed 2005 Premiership winning coach Tim Sheens, as well as adding club legends Benji Marshall and Robbie Farah to the coaching staff. And that's all the sports for now. Carol.
Thank you, Terry. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Bye.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.